Okay, today we continue with our new class, Kosher Kitchen, and we start with, as usual, from Sefer Chofetz Chaim, and big topic is the same, called Lashon Hara, laws of derogatory speech. Today topic, content and intent. Previously we saw that the statement which essentially derogatory is forbidden, regardless of the speaker's opinion regarding the statement. Conversely, it is forbidden to utter statements which are essentially not derogatory if either the speaker or the listener consider it's derogatory. So we're going to give example. Right, so previously we said even if a speaker think, what did they say? So he said, what was the example? Right, the derogatory is if you say that somebody is average, right? This person will find it offensive. Okay, so now we're going to go into different example. Illustration of this would be where an individual mode of dress is being discussed. Although there may be nothing wrong with the way of person dresses, nevertheless it is forbidden to say that the individual dresses in that manner if either the speaker or the listener has unfavorable impression of those who dress in this way. So for example, I'll give you a perfect example. So in some circles, right, in Haredi circle, there is a special mode of dress. So for example, if somebody would come to pray without a jacket, it's like he's not Shomer Shabbos, almost. Like he's a criminal. Or he would come without hat. It's like a criminal of the criminal. So, but is it allowed to pray without jacket? 100%. Is it allowed to pray without a hat? Of course. So even though there is he's not breaking all of the halachas, but to say to another person who would see is it in a negative light, it's absolutely forbidden. So I think it's a good example. Okay. All right, so we continue with overview. So, and its overview is very, very interesting. So an author is actually going into details and elaborates on why we keep all of the mitzvahs. Of course, kosher is only one of the mitzvahs. We have other 612 other mitzvahs. As we said last time, those mitzvahs are like 613 are like subject. They are going to be subdivided into other different mitzvahs. Okay. So we're going to go in small paragraphs because he put a lot of details on the essence of the Judaism, and we're going to review and discuss. If you have any questions, please ask me, or comments. Questions are better than comments. Okay. So continue. So the topic that we in the middle of is called food, the focus of on conflict. And it says, the essence of human existence is a partnership between body and soul in which each partner seek controlling interest. All vicissitudes of man's life is a triumph and failures, ascent and descent, are likened to ongoing struggle. The ultimate victory is achieved when man rules over the animal kingdom, can subdue and transform the animal within himself. That's an amazing line. Okay, so let's do this little paragraph from the beginning and we're going to explain. So it says, in essence, human existence is a partnership between body and a soul in which each partner seeks controlling interests. So as we know, every human being, body and the soul, and soul is a part of God. So soul is a driving force that wants you to do good, wants you to do what HaShem wants. And a body is a body. So a body wants all of the physical pleasure. Body wants to sleep, and in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, it wants to sleep, but soul said no, but you need to go start praying, you need to go start preparing for the prayers, like a lot of things to do, and it's always a conflict, and who is going to win? So, and even though it's conflict in a single person and each of us, so but the stronger, so we have to fortify the soul, so it would be over the body. Of course, you take care of the body, you don't neglect the body, you eat, you sleep, you do whatever you need to do, exercise, right? But soul part must be stronger. Continue. All of the vestiges of men's lives are triumphs and failures. So when somebody fails, just so we know, so somebody said, oh, Rabbi, so fail. So I will always say that if somebody fail, it means you're normal, it means that you're human. Humans always fail, but the thing is, after you fail, you must get up and like learn from your previous mistakes, as we learn in our class, Halachos, and go up even stronger. So now I'm not going to repeat these mistakes, right? Triumphs and failures, ascent and descent, are linked in this ongoing struggle. So every day, so people ask, so when this Eitz Hara is going to leave me alone? So the answer is almost never. But at least, maybe it's going to leave you a little alone. It's going to concentrate on other thing, how to get you. But you have to be prepared to fight it every day. Okay. The ultimate victory is achieved when man who rules over his animal kingdom can subdue and transform the animal within himself. So it's amazing line. So of course a man can do everything. They fly into out of space, and they jump go in the bottom of the ocean. All of these things. They control all of the animals. Of course, they do whatever they want with the animals. Doesn't matter how strong the animals are, right? People can control, but animals within themselves, it's not so easy. And you see the society around us, and most people they cannot control themselves, right? That's why Pirkei Avos says that who is strong, who is really strong, who can subdue himself, who change one character trait. Continue. Thus, the act of eating, which grants life to human being, is itself the point of the fusion between the spiritual and physical. It is the place where the combatants engage, where the ongoing struggle to forge the productive relationship between the physical and the spiritual are its fiercest. Since eating more than any other mitzvah brings about the integration of these two opposite forces, it stands forever at the crossroads of life. See Ruach Chaim 3.3. Okay, so let's try to understand. So let's start from the beginning, and we're going to explain. That the act of eating, which grants life to the human being, is itself point of fusion between spiritual and physical. So how is it fusion between spiritual and physical? So in a simple level, so we try first to understand many things on a simple level, not Kabbalistic level. So on a simple level, a person must eat in order to live, right? And in order for you to be spiritual, in order for you to learn Torah and do mitzvahs, you have to eat, right? So in a sense, so we transform this physical food into spirituality. So what gives the boost to spirituality, that a person is alert, he can do mitzvahs, is the physical food. It is place where the combatants engage, right? So are we going to eat because we like the food, right, and attack food as an animal, or in my mind, I need to get strength, I need to get proteins and all of these nutrients in order to be able to serve God, right? So combat and engage. Whether I'm going to struggle is to forge productive relationship between the physical and the spiritual, right? Eating is the most physical thing, right? All of the animal and fish and insects they eat, right? And same in this sense, a person is on very low level, like all of the other creatures, right? And the spiritual, right? So, and it's also a fight. Why you eat? Because you want to be holy, or just because you want to be satiated? Since eating is more than other mitzvah, brings about integration of these two opposing forces. It stands forever as a crossroads of life. So it's very interesting. That's when the like physical and spiritual comes together. And as we said last time, if you combine two, you're going to sanctify your food, and your table, your dining table is going to be like mizbeach, like an altar. And you even though you're not a Kohen Gadol, you've been in a sense as Kohen Gadol. So, and it's actually possible to achieve, and it's actually a requirement for every Jew. If you read Mislas Hashirim, that's what it says. He give you steps of building up your character, but that's he said it's for everybody. It's not like for some people. Perhaps this helps to explain why Zohar refers to eating time as a time of war. Very interesting. Why? Controlling and directing this primal desire as a front line in ongoing battle for primacy between the sacred and mundane elements, of which man is comprised. This may be explained in the relationship between the words lechem, bread, and locheim, warrior. Okay, so let's do this piece again, separate. It's now we're going to Zohar a little, right? So one more time, and we're going to explain. Perhaps this explains why the Zohar refers to eating as a time of war. So one of the explanations, as we said, which side is going to gain control, your physical side, like right, or your spiritual one. Controlling and directing the primal desire is to front line in ongoing battle for primacy between sacred, meaning your soul, right, and mundane elements in which man is comprised. Okay, that's why. So it's lechem. Lechem is a bread, and locheim is a warrior. Okay, continue. Rabbi Elimelech of Lezhensk taught that tzaddikim have little difficulty focusing on the thoughts properly when they pray. Their minds are always pure and clean. It is when they eat that they must struggle to elevate the physical act and unleash their spiritual potential. So it's very, very interesting. So let's so you see the author takes like little pieces from different books and different ideas and combine into one. So Rabbi Elimelech Milezhensk, I think he's from 17th century, 18th century, I think, taught that tzaddikim have little difficulty focusing on their thoughts properly when they pray, and their minds are always pure and clean. So that's I've been asked this question many times. How do you concentrate? How you like when you learn, when you have this time for mincha, and how can you prepare, especially like in a work environment. Everybody gathers for mincha, so, and it's exactly like they start on time and finish in 10 minutes. Whatever, yeah, in the work environment, yeah, like 10, 13 minutes. That's all you have. And then some people they come a little early and they start talking like schmoozing and stuff like that. It's not proper way to prepare for a mincha or for any spiritual activity. You have to concentrate. So you have only 10 minutes to do that. So, and it's of course it's a hard work to concentrate on the things, and the first recipe for this is to clean our mind from all of the garbage that around us. So if you watch news, stop it. If you look read whatever you read, some blog, stop it. And when you don't allow this foreign information enters your head, so it would be easier for you to concentrate. And a few people that I gave more details and advice like that, they try, and that actually worked. At least they have a big improvement, let's put it this way. It is when they eat that they must struggle to elevate the physical act and to unleash the spiritual potential. So this, Rabbi Elimelech Milezhans, he said, look, when you're just doing spiritual, there is no problem, at least for this tzaddikim, right? There is no problem. They can concentrate, no problem. There is no distraction. There is no physical distraction, right? But here, when you have a physical distraction, that's a battle, right? Even for tzaddikim, you have physical and spiritual. Okay, that's another idea. Continue. As we face the test of our healthy to the loss of kashrut, of our fealty to the loss of kashrut, we reenact Adam's challenge in the Garden of Eden. We are once again charged with the mission of partaking from the plenty offered us by the Creator, and to issue that which He had forbidden. Man's malchus and subsequently God's malchus wants for the outcome of the decision. Right? Okay, so let's let's try to understand what it says here. Shall we partake in plenty of Creator? So it says here, okay. So we have this our loss of kashrut, right? And same as Adam, right? In some sense, Adam was also given the laws of kashrut. So kashrut is basically the thing what we are allowed to eat and what we are not allowed to eat. So his test was, of course, on one sense, in some sense, like simpler than we have, because he had only one food that is forbidden. We have many more foods that are forbidden. But needless to say, so we have to learn from Adam and not to follow his example. Right? Continue. Why? And it says, the last sentence says, man's malchus. Malchus is a kinghood. Right? And subsequently, God's malchus waits for outcoming of decision. So basically, to elevate ourselves, so in some sense, it's like little Kabbalistic what is written here, so we can do it through the laws of kosher. Continue. Strategies for the sanctity. Any questions on what we said before we continue? Okay, no problem. So continue. Strategies for the sanctity. Okay, so it's based on Pri Tzadik Erev Yom Kippurim 4. Okay. In a battle for supremacy of the spiritual, two strategies are available to man. Man may either practice abstinence, seeking to totally disseminate the innate desire for consumption, or he may seek to redirect his focus, that inclination, by the sublimating to its higher purpose. Okay, so let's read this paragraph again and try to understand. So one more time. In a battle for supremacy of the animal, of the spiritual, so as we said, it's a physical against spiritual, two strategies are available to man. So only two approaches. Which one? Men will either practice abstinence. So abstinence, as Mislas Yeshlim said, okay, so a person says it's very hard, right? It's very hard. So I'm not going to eat this. So basically, this person forbids himself or herself different foods, right? So some people trying to be holy, which is the wrong way to be holy. They say, I'm not going to eat meat. If you're not going to eat meat because of the health reason, or because you don't like meat, or because of this, because of that, it's one thing. But if you don't eat meat because you want to be holy, that's not the way to be holy. Okay. So one way is the abstinence. So he or she said, I'm not going to eat the food, period. Or I'm going to eat only oatmeal, right? Seeking totally to disseminate the innate desire for consumption. So a person like work work on himself, and after some time, so he does not want to eat. I'm not sure how is it possible, but I guess it is possible. Or he may seek the redirect the focus that inclination by sublimating it to the higher purpose. Or as we explained before, you can redirect and you said, yes, I'm going to eat, but I'm going to eat for the purpose of serving my Creator. Continue. The Talmud Brachot 8b described the halachic obligation to eat on the eve of Yom Kippur. He who eats on the 9th of Tishrei is considered to have fasted on the 9th and the 10th. Yom Kippur occurs on the 10th of Tishrei. The sages seem to infer that eating on the 9th is itself deemed as independent of Yom Kippur fast. Okay, as a Yom Kippur fast on 2 days of fasting. So we're going to explain what does it mean. Why would eating be considered more more sanctified than abstinence? Is not Yom Kippur the holiest day of the year? So let's try to understand. So Talmud actually said that we have to fast on the 9th and the 10th, right, on the 2 days. But they say, yeah, if you eat on the 9th, meaning before the Yom Kippur, it's like you fasted for 2 days. So how is it possible? You ate, you had a big meal, and now it's considered like you fasted, right? So the question is, the last question is, why would eating be considered more sanctified than abstinence? So person eats and it's like it's higher than fasting. How does that make sense? Is not Yom Kippur the holiest day of the year? The underlying idea is that everything God created has an integral role in a heavenly symphony. All of the creation sing to God, and man is a master of, and the man is master conductor. The non-eating on Yom Kippur is a risk-free. But the greater glory of HaShem is served on Erev Yom Kippur, when man eats in a sanctified mitzvah fashion. So it is actually a mitzvah to eat this meal on Yom Kippur. Rather than excluding consumption from the godly symphony, we set tone whereby food adds to the harmonious melody. So it's a little poetic, but it's very interesting, and we're going to explain what it says here. Very interesting. So one more time, the underlying idea is that everything God created has an integral role in a heavenly symphony, right? So everything, all of the food, all of our desires, so it's all created for a purpose, right? Continue. All of the creation sing to God, and man is a master conductor. So all of the creation sing to God, so including angels and the trees and all of the other creations, right? But man is a conductor, meaning that he has a free choice. So all other, like a tree cannot do whatever it wants, right? I can do whatever I want, right? Whatever I choose to do. Let's put it this way. But like animals, right? They cannot do whatever they want. They can only follow their instincts, right? So in some sense, the man is a master conductor. The not eating on Yom Kippur is a risk-free, right? So I mean, what are you going to lose? You don't eat, no problem. You're not going to transgress any law. But the greater glory of HaShem is served on Yom Kippur, when man eats in sanctified mitzvah fashion. So we eat and we do take this food and make something spiritual out of it, right? We're getting ready for the spiritual day. So I'm eating on Erev Yom Kippur in order to get strength. And if you see this Mahzor on Yom Kippur, so it's almost thicker as this book. It's very I don't know how many pages. 300 pages, and sometimes it's extra and disputing and that, like 500 pages. That depends on the publisher and how much commentary it has inside. You understand? So to read all of this, and in many prayers you have to stand and you have to sing, and for men we have to go down on our knees. Like that's we have to have a lot of energy, right? So we eat and elevate this food. Rather than excluding consumption from the godly symphony, we set tone whereby food adds the harmonious melody. So, right? So even food, very physical thing, we add to this symphony of what I'm looking for. So this symphony that we play for HaShem. Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi, the redactor of the Mishnah, in the prototype, he is a prototype of the approach to life. On his own life, he said, "I have not delivered any pleasure in this world, never haven't tasted any delicacies." It says from Ksubas 104a. This is rather intriguing statement, considering the Talmud statement regarding the extreme wealth, that all seasonal foods were to be found in his table during both winter and summer. See Avodah Zarah 11a. This type of consumption, conspicuous consumption, would seem to be the antithesis of the Kedusha, and yet he is known for posterity as Rabbeinu HaKodesh, our holy Rabbi, due to the extreme piety and holiness. So let's try to. I'm going to summarize here because it's very simple. So we have this great Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi. So he's the one who compiled the Mishnah. So Mishnah is our oral Torah. So oral Torah is a Mishnah. It's that all of the laws that we receive from Moshe Rabbeinu, and then Talmud goes on and elaborates on the Mishnah and says what exactly it says in the Mishnah. Okay, so he's the one. So meaning that he was so great, right? Of course, he had helpers, but he was so great, so he would be able to differentiate was it right, was it wrong, and then put the whole oral Torah in one place, and of course in the structure, specific structure, right? And after when he was dying, he raised his finger and said, "HaShem, I didn't enjoy this world. You know, HaShem, even for so much as my pinky, I think." Right, so and it says, how is it possible? It says that he was one of the richest men who ever lived in Eretz Israel, right? So and he had all of this seasonal foods always. So today, seasonal food, I mean, for us does not mean much, because if you live in a state or somewhere, right? So you have all of the foods all the time. So you go to winter. You go to buy strawberries, there's strawberries. I mean, maybe they're not as tasty, maybe not a little more expensive, but there are always strawberries, always raspberries and other things. Okay, but in their time, just to preserve and bring to a different country, it was a big deal. So it just shows you how rich he was. And even though he was rich, right, he's one of the few people who in the Torah is called HaKodesh, right? Kadosh, right? Holy. Okay. Continue. Perhaps we need to free ourselves of foreign ideas and focus on a Torah definition of Kedusha in order to resolve the similar anomaly. So as we said before, it's not perhaps, but for sure we have to free ourselves of foreign ideas, right? As the world tell us how to live our life, right? And what is the purpose of life, right? And focus on of Torah definition of Kedusha. What Torah is called Kadosh, meaning holy, and what is not so Kadosh. Okay. So any questions on what we said? Okay, no problem. I'll continue. So next piece is the people of holiness. The Kotzker Rebbe explained the verse, "People of holiness, you shall be for me." It says in the Shmos 22:30. Not as an exhortation to be angels, devoted of any darker side, but rather as the people of holiness, fully human yet totally sanctified. Kiddusha means not abstinence, but rather full participation in all facets of life, albeit without any pursuit of personal pleasure. God is not looking for angels. Of those he has no luck. Right? It is human beings that all, with all their frailties and foibles, living on inspired and exalted plane that give the Almighty endless pleasure. So let's try to understand what it says here. So Kotzke Rebbe is another greater of our tzaddikim. So always a Hasidic Rebbe. So he explained the verse: "People of holiness, you shall be to me." So HaShem said, it's not. He addressed the whole Jewish nation. So you shall be holy to me. People of holiness, you shall be to me. Right? That's a requirement, not as an exhortation to be angels. So of course Hashem gave us Eitzah Hara, right? So he cannot expect us to be angels. Angels do not have Eitzah Hara, right? But the Jew has Eitzah Hara, and non-Jew also. So that's why we can go up and down in our level, as we said before. So not as an exhortation to be angels, devoted of any darker side. So angels, they're perfect, but rather to be people of holiness, fully human, yet totally sanctified. So fully human with all of the human desires, with all of the human needs, and on one hand, on another hand, totally sanctified. So how can you be totally sanctified if we have physical need? It's a different story. So, for example, it says that a person is not allowed to pray when he has some bodily needs. So he has to go and cleanse himself and come back and learn and pray. So in this way, even in this mundane physical actions, so a person can sanctify himself 100%. Kiddusha means not abstinence, but rather the full participation in all facets of life. So Kiddusha, the holiness, it's not like I'm not going to do it complete. I'm not going to eat. I'm going to be holy. No, or like other religion, I'm not going to have. I'm not going to marry, and that's why I'm going to be holy. No, that's when it says opposite. You have to be married. You have to get married. You have to be holy. You have to have children, right? And go through all of these difficulties and be holy. Right, so one second. So one more time the whole sentence. Kiddusha means not abstinence, but rather full participation in all facets of life, albeit without any pursuit of personal pleasure. So, and whatever we do, it's not for personal pleasure, even though you're allowed to derive pleasure, right? But it's like a side effect, right? So you do it for a glory of Hashem, and you get pleasure. There is no problem with that. God is not looking for angels. So meaning what? That you can enjoy food. It's not like you have to cook your food without salt, without all of this spices and taste it like a rubber. No, you can eat normal food, enjoyable food with good aroma, with good taste. Everything is good, and but you eating and must be for a purpose to serve Hashem. So you have a Shabbos meal. So purpose of serving Hashem. That's Hashem said that I have to enjoy Shabbat. That's how I enjoy, right? And then He said how you enjoy. You enjoy with wine and the meat and other things. Okay, God is not looking for angels. Of those He has no luck, right? So Hashem has many angels, and He can create trillions of angels. He does not need them, right? It is human being that, with all of their problems, right? With all frailties, are living on an inspired and exalted plane that give Almighty endless pleasure. It's humans that have all of these challenges, right? And they can go with all of their physical desires, who elevated themselves on a higher plane. That's what Hashem wants, and He enjoys. So every time when we overcome ourselves, our physical nature, we have to understand, and in some sense, whatever it means, Hashem enjoys seeing us struggle and go to a higher level. It is in this sense that Rambam calls the section of the Mishnah the Mishnah Torah that deals with law governing morality in relationships and the laws of Kashrut, Kedusha, Holiness. The true Kedusha is extending the spirit of HaShem and the enhancement of His honor to the area of life which are most prone to egotistical, pleasure-pursuing hedonism. Okay, so let's try to read this paragraph again. Did we learn any laws from this section of Kedusha? I don't think so. No. We'll see. Maybe we're going to do it one time, one day in a Rambam's class, maybe. So one more time, it is in a sense that Rambam calls this section of the Mishnah Torah that deals with the laws governing morality in relationships and the laws of Kashrut, Kedusha. So far we learn the section that is called knowledge, where we have this 3 series in the Rambam's book. It's only from the section knowledge. True, Kedusha is extended to spirit of HaShem and enhancing His honor to the area of life which are most prone to egotistical pleasure pursuing hedonism. Right. So all of these things, like in a kashrus, in a relationships between man and wife, right? It's the most basic thing, right? The physical thing, and that's where we have to elevate these things to the level of holiness, especially those days. The more physical it is, the more we're trying to elevate to the level of holiness. Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi had a table filled with the finest. So you see, he's jumping from topic to, not topic is the same, but from different from one rabbi to another rabbi. Okay. Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi had the table filled with the finest gastronomic delights. Yet he could honestly attest about his own lifestyle. I derive no pleasure whatsoever. All of his eating was solely for a mitzvah purposes, in order to sustain his body that carries a soul. Hashem's instrument in implemented His will in our world. This is true kadosh, a real life person. Vibrantly living an exalted existence. Okay, so let's try to understand. So again, we go to that's a different. It's Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, right? So also very rich person, very rich person. Hanasi means, as we learn. On Wednesday, it was yesterday, right? It's Hanasi is the head of the Sanhedrin, right? So the top of the religious people in Israel, right? So one more time. So in many times this person was the holiest. Okay, so one more time. The Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi had a table filled with the finest of gastronomic delights, yet he could honestly attest about his own lifestyle. I derived no personal pleasure whatsoever. So basically, all of this is were for a guest. So this the person, one of the things that we learn is a person of this stature. He cannot be like I don't know. Dressed like a shmendrik or have only a few pieces of bread on the table. No, he has to show that he is rich, right? To show that he is rich, feed other people. So maybe you don't enjoy these gastronomic delights, but maybe many poor people who visit you, they would enjoy. So you take care of your soul and about other people's stomachs, right? That's what our sages do, right? All of his eating was solely for a mitzvah purposes, in order to sustain the body that carries the soul. Hashem instrument in implementing His will in the world. So as we just said, so whatever you need to eat to sustain your body. So if it's meat, so you must eat meat. If it's this vegetable or some, like, I don't know, some expensive foods, whatever is, I don't know, expensive food, whatever, it's your doctor told you that you need this food. Okay, so it means that you need that food. But it's not for because you're arrogant, because you can afford it. No, because you want to be servant of HaShem. That's the only reason. Makes you humble. This is true kadosh in Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, a real life person, right, living exalted existence. So he could afford everything, but he decided to eat whatever very modest food. In a similar way, in the Medrash in Vayikra Rabbah 34 characterizes Hillel the elder. Okay, whenever the Hillel the elder took leave of the students to go home for his meal, they would accompany him. They ask him, Rabbi, where are you going? To which he replies, to show kindness to the guest in my house. But master, do you have a guest every day? They inquired. He answered, isn't it the soul but the guest of the body? The body remains in this world, while the soul is like a guest. Here today, gone tomorrow. Moving on the world to come. That's amazing. So I'm not going to read again. We just summarize. It's very interesting. So this another greatest of the great, Hillel the elder. So he was going home, right? I'm not going to repeat. So what we can learn here. So he would say that my soul. So I'm going to feed the guest. Who is the guest? Is my soul, right? Why? Body stays here. Right, body comes from another body, from a physical that existed before he came to the world, and then it goes to the grave. So it's still here, still stays here in this world. But the soul comes down as a guest, right, to this world, stays here a limited amount of time and goes back. Body comes from here and stays here. So it's like a guest. Continue. Hill came to teach his students a proper approach to what could become a hedonistic obsession. Man in this world is like a guest at an inn. The horses are already hitched to his wagon. They're ready to leave. There is no time for anything more than a quick bite and snatch drink. And off on the road. So it's amazing line, and I'm going to say it's from Sida Tzadok HaKohen, Israel Kadashim 5. So it's very interesting. So he told his student, like, see this world like you in a hotel, and there is a car waiting for you, like the motor is running. Let's say the taxi, right? The meter is running, so you don't want to overpay. You just want to get going, like eat quickly whatever you need to eat, drink, and on your way. So, and sometimes like people they like to on Friday night, right? They invite guests, and these guests come, and they have no Torah in them, right? And they say, okay, let's and they will hang out and speak all of the Loshen Hara and all of the nonsense. It's still they stay around the table for 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, and then the next day they cannot get up and go to shul. You understand? So of course there is a mitzvah to eat. So eat quickly. Well, even for mitzvah meal. Okay, enjoy like how much you can eat. Like 1 hour. Okay, 1.5 hours. That's it. Go to bed. So get up in the middle of the night. I'm talking about men. Learn Torah. Get prepared, right? Don't spend all of this time on meals. Unfortunately, somehow lately they send me like advertisement on one of the Jewish networks that they have in New York. There is a show, the Jewish food and wines. Like Jews have to go to do the show to see all the different foods and wines. Like not the Torah presentation, not to the Torah presentation to learn more Torah, but a presentation of food and wine. That's sick. The way I see it, that's sick. Okay. Continue. The message of Hillel was that food is a medium with which show kindness to the soul. Okay, so soul needs to survive. Without food, it cannot survive. So we have to be realistic, right? By giving its life. So soul is being soul can live in this world only when the body is alive. Body is alive through the food. So when you eat, you're doing kindness to the soul, right? Therefore, eat to live. Don't live to eat, right? Eat to live. So eat because you need to live, and not live to just until the next meal. Okay. Any questions on what we said? Okay, we're almost done with the introduction. Let's see what time is it. 1 second. Time flies so fast. Okay. Maybe not going to finish with introduction. Sorry. Okay. So next one, Timtum Halev. So Rabbi Reuven Shlita speaks about this line very often. So so now we're going to get to it. So like how this how this non-kosher foods it clogs your brain, okay, and heart. So it says, it was said about the students of Rabbi Shmuel. It was said among the students of Rabbi Shmuel, so greatest rabbi, sin dulls the heart, as it says, do not make yourself tamei through them, prohibited species, lest you shall become contaminated through them. Do not read venit men same, you shall become contaminated, but read, it's in English, sorry for reading, venitam tem. Okay, he's a Hebrew. Yeah, venitam tem. You shall become dull-hearted. It's from Talmud Yoma 39a. So let's try to understand, read again and we understand. It was said among the students of Rabbi Shmuel, sin dulls the heart. So mean when person sins, often he becomes desensitized to this sin and to the Torah in general. So it's like first time person sins, okay, he feels bad. Second time, third time, that does not feel so bad. And the fifth time, it's like a mitzvah, right? So as it says, do not make yourself tameh. Tameh is like impure, but tameh impure, but spiritually impure, right? Do not make yourself tameh through the prohibited species, meaning through the prohibited species, meaning forbidden foods, lest you shall become contaminated through them. So when a person eats non-kosher, he or she for sure becomes contaminated. Of course, not the body, but the soul and the brain, of course. And the soul is in the brain, just so you know. Do not read vetin mei sem, you shall become contaminated, right? But ventinan tem, you shall become dull-hearted, meaning that the heart is not going to feel anything. That's the worst. The word venit me sem is written without Halev. Hence, it may be read differently. Okay. Forbidden foods carry uncleanness into the person's heart and soul until the holiness of God departs and distances from him. Before we continue, so when person like eats these forbidden foods, this impurity pushes out. So like if you can like imagine something, like it pushes out like through the holiness that was in him before. As it says in Yoma 39a, do not read ventin mei sem. I like this English translation. But venitam tem, right? As we said, meaning the dullness of the heart. For the sin dulls one's heart, exactly. For it causes the true knowledge of the spirit of wisdom that God grants his devout ones depart. Misalas Yesharim 11. So it's probably chapter 11. Okay, so meaning when person eats non-kosher food, it's impossible for him to understand Torah. It's impossible for him or her to understand holiness. That's guaranteed. That's what it says in the Talmud, and that's what we see in everyday life. Continue. So, but once person start eating kosher, as we answer this question, after 3 days they already see some progress. Is it complete progress? Of course not. I mean, after such a long period of time where a person was eating non-kosher, so it takes time to cleanse the system. But at least after 3 days, we see the big progress, because it goes into the blood and etc. Continue. The issue of kashrut, in light of the above, is at the core of the struggle. The food one eats profoundly influences one's nature. Modern medicine has only recently discovered that DNA present in every cell controls the nature of the organism. Similarly, every cell possesses a spiritual nature, which is carried through the food chain. Very interesting. Where what we eat is very true. One who eats a particular animal integrates some of the nature and its characteristics. That is not recognized by contemporary science is of no moment. Science deals only with the physical aspect of the human body and knows nothing of unqualifiable spirit. It requires no great leap of faith to speculate that what is accepted as a fact is a physical aspect of the nature is true regarding the soul as well. So let's try to understand, and maybe I'm just going to summarize what it says here so we understand. So we know that about DNA. So every cell has DNA, right? And every DNA. So it's travel from place to place, right? These cells from place to place, right? And same every cell has a spiritual DNA, right? Which contain characteristics like spiritual characteristic of that cell. So when a person eats non-kosher animal, let's say, so he eats this physical DNA, physical cells, and plus he swallows this spiritual DNA, right? And as it says, we are what we eat, right? And this spiritual DNA affects the person. Like, it's very simple. If a person eats pigs, so he's going to behave like a pig. It's only matter of time. Okay. So, and of course, they say, of course, science cannot prove that, but they cannot disprove that. Science are concentrated only on the physical aspects. But if one is true, so we can say the second one is also true. If every cell brings with it the DNA, physical DNA, it also brings spiritual DNA. As I say, it's not. It requires no great leap of faith. It's not like a far-fetched idea. Right? Continue. When one eats non-kosher foods, he impairs his ability to contend to the sublime. His mind's ability to fathom the depth of the Torah knowledge becomes handicapped. His ability to sense the spiritual becomes inhibited. It is far more difficult for his soul to soar heavenward on the wings of the Torah study and prayer. It's very, very sad what it says here, but that's very, very true. So let's this part let's do line by line, and we're going to explain. When one eats non-kosher foods, he impairs the ability to connect to the sublime. So this connection to the holy is not there, right? At least impairs his ability. Maybe it's possible, but very, very not probable, right? Again, because it affects his spirituality. His mind's ability to fathom depths of the Torah knowledge becomes handicapped. So you can, this person, and I can testify to this. So I speak to this person, not one and not two, right? And they're smart, very smart. They're big top programmers. Like they can run the program in their head, and they can I don't know, like a big system. They're building systems like unbelievable with millions of elements, and they know how it's all run, how it's all get together. So the guy can in his mind see where the problem is. So meaning genius of the genius. And you start to explain them simple spiritual things they cannot fathom. Period. They get like sleepy, this and that. They cannot. Why? Because soul shuts down, unfortunately. It's so impure, it cannot contain holiness. This ability to sense the spiritual becomes inhibited, right? So, I mean, it's close, it's so dirty. It is far more difficult for his soul, right, HaShem soul, to soar heavenwards on the wings of Torah study and prayer. So the more a person learns Torah and Torah and of course prayer, so he can lift himself up. He or she, doesn't matter, right? How? Like to connect. The only way to connect to God through His Torah and performance of His mitzvah. There is no other way. Okay, continue. For a non-Jew, this is not a disadvantage. However, for one whose goal is avodat Hashem, it is devastating. Even one who is mistakenly eats non-kosher food is nevertheless affected by impurity of those foods. Indeed, even someone who was compelled to eat non-kosher food because of life-threatening situation cannot escape the effects of these foods. So we're going to explain it right now, because it's very, very interesting concept, very deep concept. So let's do this sentence and be explained. For a non-Jew is not a disadvantage. However, for one whose goal is avodas Hashem, it is devastating. So what does it mean? Commentary. Nevertheless, just as the teshuva removes the blemish on the soul caused by the sin, so too one who does a sincere teshuva can overcome his handicap caused by ingesting non-kosher food. So it's very interesting. So eating non-kosher is one of the sins, and person have, of course, through the learning of the Torah, through the taking in as much as holiness as possible, and through the teshuva. Teshuva means that that person feels bad for whatever he did, and this combination with Torah cleanses him from inside. Right? As we said, this non-kosher food does not, like in spiritual way, affect non-Jews. Right? It does not. But as Rabbi Rubinstein always say, he did, his wife Rebbetzin did all of this researches, and they found so many garbage that put like all of this. You can look up on his website all these bad things that they put in the food. So even a non-Jew, normal non-Jew, if you would find out what they put, like beetles and like animal parts that very disgusting into the food, so that they would get disgusted. Right, but spiritually, does not affect non-Jews. Okay, but physically, it should be disgusting. So I had this colleague in my work. So he said, I know that you Jews are smart people. That's why I eat kosher. Does not. I said, why you eat kosher? Is it tasty? He said, I do not know, but I want to be like Jews. I mean, he was that's what he wanted to live a very long life and be smart as Jews, but that's where it ends. But he's smart, not Jew, but very, very smart. Even one who mistakenly eats non-kosher food is nevertheless affected by impurity of those foods. So sometimes when a person's life is in danger, and you're allowed to eat non-kosher food if there is no other food is available, but you must remember. So even though you are allowed to eat this food, it's going to affect your life, because you cannot raise the physical intake of the food, right? Even though you were allowed. So let's see the commentary. See your Shach to York Day 81:12. We also find that Timtum Halev so it's impurity of the heart, Timtum Halev, can be transmitted to someone even if he's committed no sin. So this person, right? So he was okay. So let me give you a different example, and then we go to this example. So it says that when somebody is sick, right, and it's Shabbat, so technically you allowed to go to your neighbor, non-Jewish neighbor, and ask him for a piece of meat because so the sick person in your household is very, very sick, right? Very, very sick, and he's very weak, and he needs to eat piece of meat. Okay, no problem. So you're allowed to go ask for this neighbor, let's say, to cook piece of meat for your for another Jew. You're going to pay him after Shabbos. All these things. Okay, so so technically you can do that, because other person life in danger, and he's allowed to eat non-kosher meat, but we must know that this meat is going to affect him. Okay, so I would say it's better for us, even though it is allowed, if this person is not so dangerously ill and he can wait few hours. So they say go better to shech the cow, to kill the cow, and to prepare the kosher meat, which is like big deal. All of these steps, big, huge deal, and give him a kosher piece of meat. So why you just told me there is allowed? It's one time. He just tomorrow tonight we're going to give him a kosher piece of meat. Like, why should we go through all of these troubles? They say no. You understand? It's going to affect his mind. It's going to affect his soul. Even though it is permitted, it's going to affect him. That's how dangerous non-kosher food is. Continue. Sirema Yoradaya 81:7, who states that one should not let a Jewish child nurse from a non-Jew. Right? So okay. So even though you say milk, what is the problem with the milk? Milk not kosher, yeah, because milk contains milk. If for some people who do not know, milk comes from blood, and blood is and all of whatever person eats, it's being transformed into blood. So, and whatever this woman ate, it's going to be in her milk, right? And Jewish child is not allowed to drink this milk. Although mother's milk of the non-Jew is permitted, nevertheless it causes Timtum Halev. So it is permitted. I mean, after the fact, it's milk. Milk is kosher. It's not like right, but it's going to it's going to clog your heart. It is the most interesting that we find the reverse as well. Nursing from a tzadekis instill good character in a child. So if opposite is true, right? So if I'm not sure if it's Jewish child, I guess a non-Jewish child would nurse from not from his mother, but from another righteous woman. So it's going to give this person, this different child, this holiness. Yalkut Shmoni Mishlei 947 relates that all children that Sarah nurses, right, eventually converted. Very interesting. So when they had a party for Yitzchak, right? So Sarah to prove that it was actually her child, she nursed all other children, right? To prove that it's her child, and all of these children got good character. From who? From what? From milk of the Sarah. I guess we stop here. I don't want to go over 1 hour too much. So, and to be continued. We're going to continue introduction, Beezrat HaShem, next time. But it's, I mean, so I know some people skip introduction, but I think it's it would be very, very beneficial for us to lay out the groundwork when we go into details of the kosher, all of these kosher laws. Okay. Any questions on what we said on any topic? Thank you for the heart. Any?
Rabbi, I have a question.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, so when you mentioned not eating meat, now I've mentioned this to you before. Isn't it true that when you eat meat, you transfer like the spirit of the animal to you? So some of the sages and opinion from some of the sages was that one should not eat meat, and however, it is a mitzvah to eat meat on Shabbat. So let's say a person withstands from meat during the week, don't know if it's my interpretation, but my understanding of the interpretation is that unless you were like a prophet or one of the sages, you're spiritually incapable of having the ability to cope with the eating of the meat. So what happens is rather than eating it during the week, one might eat it on Shabbat to fulfill the mitzvah of Shabbat. But during the week, one wouldn't eat meat, and in fact, the interpretation I got is that one wouldn't eat meat. However, it's a sin not to do a mitzvah, and you can't intentionally sin, so one would still eat meat on Shabbat. So what's your opinion on that?
Okay, that's a very good question. So let's try to answer. So first of all, there is no mitzvah to eat meat during the week, period. So you're right about that, 100%. But there is a mitzvah to eat the meat on Shabbos, on holidays. That's a separate mitzvah. So are you obligated to eat meat during the week? No. But for example, I know some students of mine, so they have like some like physical necessity, like health necessity to eat meat every day. Like chicken, even chicken is not good. Meat for protein, or whatever doctor said, eat meat. Like there is no problem, right? Are you obligated to eat meat? Absolutely not. So is it good to eat meat? So one of the things why we eat, why our sages instituted to say blessing before we eat is why, because many times if you also watch the movie Gehinom that just came out, the soul of the not such righteous people were entrapped were sent down to this world, and they put into animals or into vegetations or into like apples, fruits and vegetables. So when you say the blessing, let's say man or woman was dressing like a cow, literally, right, in her life, so she was reincarnated as a cow. So now, like, and she's struggling, she wants to go back to Gehinom and get purification, final purification, go to Gan Eden or go to wherever she must go. So when you slaughter this, not you, somebody slaughters this cow, and you like say blessing over this cow, so this cow is getting elevated, and this soul is being released. You understand? So it's one of the spiritual aspect of saying the blessing. So if you like, I know exactly what he's saying. That says that many Kabbalists, Ari, I think, was one of them. They did not eat meat during the week. But if it's a kosher meat, there is no problem whatsoever. If it's if you're going to like suffer because you're not going to have enough energy to learn Torah, to work, like to provide for your family, so it's not holiness. It's opposite. They call it Hasid Shoteh, like a crazy Hasid. So a person wants to be holy, but in the end result, it's opposite. It's not holy. You understand? So it depends on the person. So me personally, I can go without meat. I mean, I can eat meat maybe a few times a week, maybe even on Shabbos. But it's like I don't eat so much meat. But other people, even in my family, they need to eat like meat every day. Not because they fat or like over something. No, because of the physical necessities, like health necessities. You understand? And not because of the indulgence, but because they don't want to eat like some people take pills, all of this food like I don't know, powders and stuff like that. But others prefer it's proper to go in a natural way to eat food. Whatever doctors tell you is good for you, so you eat that. They told you eat meat, so you eat meat. No problem. Okay. So if it's kosher meat, there is no problem. Okay. What else? Any other questions? Okay. So no. Okay. Go ahead, please.
One I have about must one wash the fingers every time we touch something that has or may have impurity, like for example, I touch my socks. and if we are currently writing some article about the Bible.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
Or
okay,
scratch the head.
okay, so let me just like a little elaborate on the question. So for people who join us today for the first time, because it's a very good question. So it says when you want to learn Torah or you want to pray, you have to make sure that your hands are pure. So from where do we learn? From Kohanim. When Kohanim were serving in the Beis Hamikdash, in a holy temple, they would purify their hands and their feet. Of course, today we cannot purify their feet because of the different reasons, but hands we can purify, right? And that's why it says that before a person prays, before studies Torah, he or she must purify their hands, right? How with a cup we do 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 3 times on 1, 3 times on 2. That's how our hands become pure. But then when you can make them impure. How you make them impure? You touch your shoes, so shoes always impure, right? So or you scratch yourself in places which are usually covered. So if I scratch myself here, right, it's not, or here, my hands are pure. But if I go under the kippah or I go under the shorts when the body is usually covered, then the hands become impure, right? Even if you just took a shower 3 seconds ago, you scratch yourself, and now you want to say blessing because you want to eat, you want to drink some water after the shower. I'm not sure if it's recommended. Cold water for sure not recommended. Let's say room temperature water, right? You want to drink, right? So you would have to wash your hands. You understand? So it's not about physical impurity; it's about spiritual impurity. So many times, so when a person sits like and learns, or as Israel saying, you type the Torah article, you edit, you do subtitles, you do whatever you do with the Torah. So of course, like if we must like pay attention, whatever we do. First of all, first part of the answer. But second part of the answer, so you can always wipe with something that is that can cleanse. For example, you have paper napkin, right? Or you have some I don't know, some rag. So you can wipe your hands. There is no problem. It's like cleansing. So in the Talmud they say you can wipe on the walls. So don't try it at home. Okay, it's not going to look pretty. Or on the floor or on some substance that cleanses. So I like any material, right? Any fabric would cleanse. So that's it. But okay. But otherwise, if you're not learning and you're not praying, you're not obligated to keep your hands pure. But after some times, I had this student, and had like for him this one was mission impossible. But he tried, and after some times, and he just reported to me like I don't know, a month ago. He said it's no longer his trouble. He like concentrates not to touch. So he carries his books, whatever his his book stand, whatever he does, and it works fine. No problem. Okay. What else?
Would it be useful to use gel alcohol?
No. This is not. No. It's not cleansing. It's whether you do water. Actually, if you pour some gel, I mean, I think like practically speaking, it's going to ruin your skin. Don't do it. Too much alcohol, it washes off these protective oils that we have on our skin. Don't do it. Just wipe on something dry, completely dry, some like piece of cloth, piece of material dry. That's it. No problem. And do always two hands. Two hands, not one hand. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay. What else? Go ahead.
One more question, Rabbi.
Please.
So if, let's say one is a male, and I don't want to be say anything inappropriate, but if you use the restroom and you do number one, and shake off debris, because, you don't, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with that as a Jew? I mean, what do you do?
You just that's an amazing question. So, and I would just add to your question. So it's actually not only about this, even though it's very practical what you say, but it's actually cover all the aspect of our life, right? And how you can eat without blessing, right? So somebody in the process of the conversion, or somebody is trying to do teshuvah, and a person, let's say in his 20s, mid-20s, in Torah. So all these years, he got used to just eat whatever he sees, like all people, whatever he eats, he wants to eat, puts in his mouth, and that's it. You understand? So, but that's not what the Jew does. So a Jew would say, okay, what blessing should I say? And okay, if I eat only this piece, would I be able to say the after blessing? No, you know what? It's not enough. I'm going to eat 2 pieces or 3 pieces, whatever is it. So I'm going to be able to say the blessing. So you do all of these calculations. You understand? So, and whatever you said, it's very practical, and you just train yourself, like remind yourself, like every time, and it doesn't matter how many times you're going to fail. No, not you. I'm talking about the general. All the people fails, right? But and Satan is going to implant this idea. Oh, look at you, you loser. Look, you already promised 300 times that I'm going to be careful. I'm going to be careful. And guess what? Today is 301st time. You fail again. So what do we do? No. We have expression that tzaddik gets up 8 times. What does it mean? Even tzaddik fell 7 times. He gets up. He finished on what sentence, he's up. So doesn't matter. You know that is right. Whatever you said, it's 100% correct. You continue doing. You continue remind yourself. You understand? And don't let all of the things from Satan that you cannot do it. It's impossible. I've been doing it for a long time. Look, I hear like every day this expression. No, I'm told, just leave me be, let it be, leave me alone. I'm told. You understand? That's advice of the Yetzer Hara, that somebody is told and somebody can handle this. That's not our approach. Our approach, as we said, a Jew can go above the angels. Angel is stationary. Jew is not stationary. We can go up, can go down. So, but Jew can go higher than angels. That's what HaShem said. That's how we believe. Okay. Any other questions?
So, how exactly, for the purposes of being able to go to the restroom and complete that, what do you do? Do you just use your left hand and wipe?
Okay, so let's leave it on a private conversation. Okay, I don't want this discussed on a tape. Okay, but I'm going to explain. Yeah. Okay, so any other questions? Any topic, whatever is on your mind? Any comments on what we said?
About the meat.
Meat.
If the spirit of the animal may transfer to the person eating the meat, but it's only the nefesh level, while the neshama level gets elevated and the ilgul that may be trapped there gets released.
Yes. Yeah, that's it. You said it. So even this you see, when they kill animal in a non-kosher way, so it takes some time for animal to die. How long time? So they did a research, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. They shoot them in the head with electricity, with a gun, with a sledgehammer, whatever they do, right? And when they do that, so as a natural reaction of preservation, so animal would I don't know what is the word, like spill this vermin into their system. You understand? So this meat of non-kosher animals is contaminated to begin with. You understand? And kosher animals, they do the shechita. It's so fast, so the animal dies instantaneously. Meaning what? Like few seconds, that's it. And it cannot do the same, right? So that's why the kosher meat is pure. Okay, what else?
For me, that's all.
Okay, no problem. Any other questions before we stop? Okay, so if no questions, so I wish everybody good Shabbos and can go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I was a little bit confused about this, but is there any form of cheese that is kosher automatically, like hard cheese, aged cheese? Let's say I go and I buy an aged piece of hard Parmesan that's been aged for 3 years, and I cut around the edges. Would that make it kosher? No. So the problem is that they so even though, okay, so to answer your question, actually we're going to go into details in this book, but just a general answer, right? Even though they use part of the calf's stomach to start the cheese process. So if this non-kosher cheeses, they use this non-kosher stomach, same area of the stomach, but it's not kosher. So to begin with, so this process, this even though it's a tiny minority of the mixture, but it was not kosher initially. So in a contrast, so if you have meat, right, part of the meat, and some milk fell into it, so if it's 60 times more meat than milk, so this taste of the milk nullified. So this piece of the meat in a non-kosher cheese, it's even lesser than 1 to 60 for sure. It's lesser, but it was like it was put there intentionally. So when I did whatever, or my kids play around and they spilled milk into my part of cheese, it was part of meat. It was accident. I did not plan for it. But if you plan initially, so the sages say no ratio is going to make it kosher. Always forbidden. That's the thing. And most often, when you buy a kosher cheese, it is made from milk that's supervised by a Jew. So it would say Halaf Israel. Halaf Israel meaning it was supervised by a Jew, and then they may make cheese from it. So there is no way to have by default this kosher cheese or kosher meat. Like it must be prepared in the right way. Milk, yes, but cheese, no. Because milk is natural. So a cow milk, so technically, if you live in a state, so they don't mix anything. They put preservatives. Most likely, these preservatives are kosher. It's not like from animal, right? Most likely. But still, even milk, we're trying to buy with a kosher stamp. If somebody lives in an area when Halaf Israel, meaning milk made by a Jew, so supervised by a Jew, is not available, so you can buy regular OU milk. There is no problem. Okay, so OU means or Orthodox Union, meaning that they check the ingredients. Of course, there's no Jew on premises when they do the milking of the cow. Of course, that's what it means. But at least they check ingredients. What else do they add to this milk as a preservatives? That's it. So, but it's not going to work with cheese, never. Especially with hard cheese. I'm not sure how they do the hard cheese, but it's even more stringent. I'm not sure. Okay, go ahead. What else?
Yes, so Rabbi, I would like to know.
Oh,
I would like to know is the reason why we're able to understand like the Torah is it because of all the kosher animals? Is because we're able to perform blessings on it?
No. Okay. So we eat kosher animals because Hashem said so. So Hashem said, these animals are going to be kosher for you. And I think, if I remember correctly, it's 10 animals that are kosher with the split hoofs. All others like the subspecies of these 10. And all other animals are not kosher. So, and it's not a blessing. I mean, blessing part is very, very important. And it's one of the 7 rabbinical laws. So we have 613 biblical laws and 7 rabbinical. So it's one of the rabbinical laws that we must bless Hashem before we eat and after we eat, right? Because we acknowledge that everything came from Hashem, right? Came to existence by His will, and we can ingest it, and we can take our body can derive all of the benefits. That's what we bless in Hashem for. So all of this just because Hashem said so. So He said, you can, if you want, you can eat these animals. But I just thought about it. What Thomas said earlier. So there are some mitzvahs that positive mitzvahs you're not obligated to do. So what does it mean? So to do the shechita, to kill the animal, are you obligated to kill an animal? Absolutely not. If you want to eat the animal, you must do shechita. If you don't want to eat the animal for whatever reason, so you're not obligated to do. Or there is a mitzvah, one of 600, to divorce your wife. Okay, if you love your wife, why you want to divorce her? So there is no mitzvah that. I mean, you're not obligated to do every mitzvah that it says there. Right? So if you're going to be in a situation that you want to eat meat, you need to eat meat, that's the laws that you're going to apply. That's it. And same with positive and with positive. With negative, we just abstain from doing something that is forbidden. Okay, go ahead. What else? Did I answer the question, or you meant something else?
Is it because of, I think I heard you because I couldn't really hear you, I was cutting off and on. So is it because of the purity that we're able to gain the knowledge, like understand?
Purity of animals? No, okay, so I would answer a little opposite from another end. So if you eat impure animals, right, or impure animals, it would make you impure, and you would not be able to learn Torah and understand its secrets. But just because you eat pure animal does not make you understand Torah. You might eat potatoes or rice. You would understand. You understand? So with non-kosher food, a person dulls its heart. That's the thing. So food doesn't. I mean, if it's kosher food, does not matter what you eat. Well, one food, I don't know if it's better than the other. If it's kosher, there's no problem. So, but if you eat not kosher, then you would dull your senses, and you would not understand Torah. Even though you can be a great professor, great mathematician, great astrologist, or whatever. Okay. What else? Any other questions?
Rabbi, you mentioned something about milk, and milk in general is kosher as long as, even if it doesn't have a kosher stamp?
Okay, so here's the thing. Yes, so I'm talking about U.S. only, because we have people in this group from different countries. Just so you know, I'm talking about U.S. only. I have no knowledge about other countries. Okay, so first disclaimer, right? So here in a state that they have a law that forbids all of these milk producers, all of the farms, to add some milk from the other animals. You understand? So original concern that the milk was forbidden, milk from a non-Jew was forbidden, and we're going to get it on Tuesday. I should believe that. That's one of the subjects that we're going to discuss on Tuesday, the foods from a non-Jew, right? It was forbidden. Why? Because in olden days, you must remember, there were no refrigerators. So what these non-Jewish people do, right? They would add the milk of non-kosher animals from a horse, from a camel. So a camel's milk is very, very fat. So, and this time people did not know cholesterol, no cholesterol, right? So they would the fatter the food, the better, the better quality. So, and these non-Jews would add and this camel milk and horse milk. That's what I know for sure. Maybe donkey milk also. I'm not sure 100% donkey milk. So it's good for preservation. So meaning this milk can stay fresher for a long time. That's what they did, non-Jews, and that's why it's one of the decrees of the sages said juice from a milk from a non-Jew is forbidden, unless Jew was on the premises and he was supervising the whole process. Maybe he would be able to come and go, but as long as this non-Jew would be afraid the Jew can come in and see him mixing other milk, there is no problem. And if there is no non-kosher animals around. So if he has he's in barn, and in his barn he has donkey, and he has she donkey, of course, and he has this cow, and he milk cow, and Jew come and go, not good. You cannot eat this milk, right? Why? Because maybe he mixed some donkey milk into it, right? So that's the thing. Since it is a governmental prohibition, and they if going to, like now it's not the point. They add this chemical, and this milk can go like for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, right? I used to work in a company, so our secretary ordered the milk. I don't remember what kind of milk, and I saw the expiration day. It's like 7 months from now. I say, you normal? Like, it's chemical. It's not the milk. It's poison. 7 months this milk can go fresh, can stay fresh. You normal? So usually milk, if somebody ever dealt with normal milk, after 2 days, it's bad. Like, unless you boil it, right? So if it can stay 7 months, so that's not good. So today they do other preservatives. It's cheaper. They don't have to contain the animal, the forbidden animal, and that's it. So technically, if you only have access to the milk without in US, I'm talking about US, without a stamp that is a kosher, okay, yeah, you can eat it, you can drink it. So, but very often you can get with kosher with a stamp, right? Or okay, something like we used to travel all over the country. We've been to different states, and always we find these kosher products. Okay, what else?
Are there any other products besides milk, any cheese or any ice cream or anything else, any other type of items that you don't have to, besides fresh fruits and vegetables that are whole and not sliced? I did have a question about frozen vegetables, though. Like a lot of the time, it looks like the broccoli isn't on the stem, but it's in the bag. Is that automatically kosher? Or
No. Especially broccoli. So I just want to say, whoever needs to go, there is no hard feeling. You can disconnect, whatever. So just, but we need to answer these questions. So the problem with the frozen vegetables. Let's step back. So everything that grows from the ground is kosher automatically. So you don't have to check. Of course, so sometimes they spray with all of these chemicals. You have to wash, like even apple, you have to wash. They put wax on it, like you have to wash off this wax. Sometimes it's not kosher. Whatever they add to that, it's one thing. So fish, if it's fish has fins and scale, always kosher, right? If it's whole, if it was not cut in pieces, so it's always kosher. Ice cream, it's not. I never said that ice cream automatically kosher. So all of the milk products that when the milk was processed, you need a kosher stamp. So milk, like we said, if you don't have any other choice, like simple pure milk, like milk, without any like flavoring or stuff like that. So yeah, it's kosher. Like after the fact, so you can rely on this leniency. But other things like I don't know, sour cream, I don't know, cheese, ice cream, all of this cream cheese, they're not automatically kosher. I never said that.
I was asking, but just to clarify, you said that fish, even if it's in let's say it's sliced and it has scales and fins, you know it's like a salmon, like a portion of salmon. Is that kosher?
No. It's problem. I mean, maybe after the fact, it is kosher. But if you go to the fish store, fish market, wherever you go, just buy the whole fish and clean it with your own knife. That's it. It's the safest way to do that. So that's I think I said that's what I used to do, right? I would buy the whole salmon with any fish. I bought on the internet a scaler. That's many flexible hats. I don't know, like very cheap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's done. You finish scaling, then you know how to cut. You watch YouTube video how to cut the fish, how to fillet the fish, whatever. You like in 5 minutes, 10 minutes after the third fish, you're going to be an expert. So that's what you can do. But half fish is questionable. Because I mean, even though you can cut the thin layer where the knife cut, but we try not to do it. So basically, because most likely the knives that they use are not kosher. For sure, the knife or whatever they used was not kosher. Let's put it this way. You understand? So, but today, if you go to any supermarket, like big supermarket, it's very hard not to find kosher food. If you milk with cheese is a different story. Let's put cheese aside. But cream cheese, like I don't know, the famous brand in US, Philadelphia cream cheese, it's kosher. Almost all of the flavors. I think all of the flavors are kosher, and it's top quality, and it's not that expensive. Cottage cheese, many of them are kosher. Many of them. Sour creams also, why it should not be an issue. So especially when you go to the big supermarket, like a national brands, like a BJ's or Sam's Club, for sure, many things are kosher for sure. Okay, what else? Any other questions? Okay, so and just so you know, if you have any doubts, something kosher, not kosher, you can always take picture, but not after you bought it and ate it. So before, and we can look it up and see if it's kosher or not kosher, if it has a kosher sign or not. Okay. Okay. Any questions or stop here? Okay, so let's stop here then, and I wish everybody good Shabbos until Monday. So Monday we're going to continue with our class of women's halachah, and Beezrat HaShem we have one special request to go over the subject of makeup on Shabbos. So some absolutely not forbidden, but there are some leniency. So I'm planning to go in details. Okay, thank you very much, and good night.